Welcome to DBL. Today is a very special day. It is International Women's Day. Woo! Yes, yes, yes. And of course, it is a time to celebrate and honor the outstanding achievements of women. And we have some incredible guests coming up. The first is a woman who escaped childhood trauma and learned how to stand tall and raise her voice. We've also got a woman who became a quantum computing researcher despite being forbidden from getting an education. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. But first, let's talk about what all of you are talking about, President Biden's State of the Union address last night. So here he is, walking through the House chamber. Biden hit on a lot of topics: taxes, the economy, reproductive rights. He also went hard against former President Trump. However, he never named him. He called him his predecessor. But some Republicans say the speech was hyper-partisan and more of a campaign speech. So take a look.
Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
The president also addressed one of the biggest issues he is facing right now, immigration. Take a listen to what he had to say.
In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing.
So this speech was really high stakes for Biden, who is 81 years old. Everyone was watching to see if there were any signs he might not be fit for office. Well, here's what he had to say about his age.
I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution. That's not me.
So DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. Do you believe that President Biden did a good job, or do you not think he did? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. What do you think? Let's start with you, Jeff, and let's just go all the way around, even though we shared some of our takes on our little personal text thread. What did you think about last night? Did he deliver?
I thought he did a good job. He didn't knock it out of the park, but he hit a double off the wall. I thought it was a good job. I didn't appreciate that he showed up late to kick things off. It's my pet peeve, is being timely. So I didn't like that. I definitely like the part where we talked about processing fees.
I knew it.
That was my favorite part. I'm telling you,
texted.
it's little things like that. It doesn't have to be the huge issues all the time for everybody. I know that's what people want to talk about. But the processing fees are really affecting the middle class, the daily people, their daily lives. I really like that part. I didn't mind what he said about gun reform. I don't think people need assault weapons in their daily life, and I know that's very controversial, but I agree with him on that. There was things I agreed with him, and there was things I didn't. The border, he was very like, hey, I got this under control. I don't think you do. And if you can change things, well, then change it. Just like the processing fees. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't seen any action behind it. This was a campaign speech for me. And like I said, he did a good job. I think the bar was set with, like, as long as he doesn't pull a Mitch McConnell, he's going to be all right. And he was lively. He delivered. Of course, he had his stumbles, but that's Joe. And I like how I know him.
It's Joe. That's what you want in a president. That's what he wants.
So all in all, I thought it was a good job. All
right, Tori.
We did it, Joe.
Good.
How do you feel?
I feel like that was exactly what we needed. Let me preface this by saying this was probably Joe Biden's most important speech of his life. This was stop the bleeding, we got to get in control, and he absolutely nailed it. He was strong. He called him the predecessor 13 times. He didn't shy away from it, and he brought it up using the word meaning the past. Predecessor, not the future, which I thought was really smart. My favorite moment of the night, you know I say Roe v. Wade is on the election table here. He faced the judges. There were 6 justices there of the Supreme Court. No time did I ever see a president do this. And he looked them in the eyes and he challenged them. Take a look at this clip.
And with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you were right about.
It was a great, great moment. Let me tell you, when abortion has been on the ballot in 7 states, Democrats have won in 7 times. They've never lost. It's a winning issue for Biden. I thought he brought up that he's also old. He nailed it and said, yeah, I am old, and I know what endures, and I know what is important in life. And I thought, man, it's the speech I needed to hear.
Great.
I want to say this. I'm going to share my thoughts in the break because I think, Erica, you had some really poignant thoughts as well. So please take the rest of the time and talk to us.
Well, I just, speaking of a demographic that is also not without electoral and political power, our seniors. And I got a call from my mother, Dr. Mama Cobb.
Yes, Mama Cobb, Dr. Mama Cobb.
Yeah, and she very seldom chimes in before I leave for work. But she said, she's like, it's very important for people to understand that, of course, we want our president to be productive and cognitively acute. However, people are seemingly missing that this candidate, this president, has more knowledge and experience on him on his worst day than many of the people that consider themselves their peers on their best day. And I thought about it because my mother, who is a very educated person and has had a lot of political activism, we are missing the voice of our seniors in this. And when we're constantly questioning how productive a person can be at this age, they are hearing this. And one thing about the seniors is they will show up to the polls.
They're the
not
most
on
likely,
social media.
most likely to show up.
Yeah, they're not on social media. They are very loud in their vote, but we don't hear from them every day. And these are people who have gotten to a certain age. They have all of this knowledge and wisdom, and they are being pushed out of their jobs that they have spent decades preparing for, at the time when sometimes they're the most knowledgeable. And I think that a lot of them are hearing this and seeing this, and they are going to show up to the polls.
Great point. And let's see what our viewers have to say. 69% of you believe he did a good job. There it is, President Biden. And no, 31% of you believe that President Biden did not do a good job last night.